country and fight. Unless I really have to, sure, maybe I'll do it. But fucking, to me, it screams for some sort of imbalance.
Yeah.
Because, or maybe they're, I don't understand, because they have nothing to do with us.
Okay, they don't, but this is what every single one of them said the same thing.
Okay.
After watching videos on YouTube of ISIS killing 3-year-old boys, crucifying people, shooting all these rebels, shooting, like, just doing all the crap that they do with their fucking masks on because they're pussies.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that, they saw that and they were like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to kill me some ISIS. And these guys go over there with their own money.
Yeah.
You know, like, they send body armor so that they're fucking protected, and they go over there and they're trying to fight, but like a lot of times they don't get to see any action. You know, they get in there. And this one guy talked about it. He said he got off the plane, he was in Iraq, and he goes, I looked around and I thought everyone was ISIS. I thought I was going to get kidnapped. This fake taxi picked me up, they took me, and then we went and we swam across the board, you know, the fucking river to get to Syria, and then we got another thing, and then they put me in safe houses, and you know, and it was talking to this guy that was doing, you know, going over there and fighting, and you know, there was a dead body on the ground, and this one guy was from Texas, and he was like fucking crazy, and he had a mohawk, and he was like talking for the dead ISIS guy, saying like this and that, and it's just like, the story is interesting, and like I just was reading, going, if I was young, I don't think that's what I want to do.
No. Not at all.
But I will fight for my freedom if shit came down on my turf.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fight.
I get that, and you know,
that's
maybe
the only time.
Maybe somebody does have another calling where they see injustices and they have to go and they have to do something about it, and that's fine. But I just feel like over there, as soon as you like put one, it's like whack-a-mole. As soon as you put one down, we start feeding guns to the other side, and then the other side becomes fucking crazy, and they start doing the same shit.
Well, yeah, we've done that, and that's what we've done for years.
Like, what guns is ISIS using?
They use the.
Are they using Russian guns, or are they using American guns?
Well, no, everyone uses an AK-47. Doesn't matter if you're American, Russian. They all use the same gun.
Yeah,
that gun
doesn't jam up.
It doesn't jam. That gun can be fucking covered in mud and still fire. It never. It's a non-failing. It's like the best automatic weapon ever made.
So
the Kalashnikov or whatever, you know, and that's what they all use.
So again, at some point we were probably backing somebody from ISIS, and then now we're in bed with like Saudi Arabia. What
do you think Al Qaeda? We trained Al Qaeda.
So I thought this was we did. You're absolutely right. We did. Yeah, we provided them weapons and
Bin Laden was our buddy.
Yeah, Bin Laden was our buddy.
He'd been to the White House.
Yeah. So we talked about this briefly. Saudi Arabia is on the UN Human Rights Council now. It's kind of funny. It's not funny. It's actually sad. But they're saying, you know, all these human rights regulations that we have, they don't apply to us because our religion prevents us from following them, which is just insane to me. I don't understand. This world is so backwards.
It is backwards, and the religion thing is just it's a crock of crap.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and you know, I don't even want to go into it about that.
Well, do you want to get into guns?
I'll talk about them.
Do you want to talk about the shooting?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to get too much into this because I want to keep it light, and I feel like we're kind of going down a serious path right now. But you know, it is tragic when these things happen, and you know, it's always sad when you know, people die from.
Is this what happened in Oregon?
In Oregon, yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's almost become background noise in our society, where every couple months something like this happens, where some guy with his screws fucking loose goes and kills a bunch of people, and it seems more often not that it's at a school, whether it's a college or what was that, Sandy Hook a few years ago, and then nothing changes. We have these huge eruptions of violence in our society, and it's all across the country. It's not isolated to one part of the country, because it happens on the West Coast, it happens on the East Coast, it happens in the middle of the country, and you know, we all get in this uproar where it's like, well, some of these guys, I don't even know if there's an uproar, but everybody gets really upset, and it's really sad, and we all wear black ribbons, but then nothing changes.
No. Well, and you know, me personally, it's the CIA. They're doing all of it.
You think the CIA is doing all of it?
They're doing it all because they want to get all the guns.
Hey, what are they
away.
saying?
Oh, hold on.
Okay, so Spencer's...
I'm going to move away from the mic.
Okay. So we are on Periscope.
Something has to change.
Okay, so people are actually listening on Periscope.
Damn, we got 3 people on Periscope. Hey, the phone's kind of far from us, and we're there. We go.
Hey, what's that guy saying?
Police is overworked.
Police is overworked.
Or overworking.
Okay, so we're trying out on Periscope, so this is a different avenue for us, but. We do talk about this. It comes up where Spencer's all in on this.
Dude, hello from Finland.
Finland?
Fuck yes.
Hey, Finland, you fucking rule.
You rule.
You can find us on iTunes under Micah and Spencer Podcast, if that's something you want to do. If not, no worries.
Yeah, and we are...
we're in Orange County.
Yeah, we're in Orange County, California.
Yeah, so welcome. We're glad you're here.
Welcome.
So I don't know if this is a problem in Finland. I don't know if this is a problem worldwide, but I know that it's a problem here in the United States.
Well, there are Finnish kids over there doing this ISIS thing too.
No, I'm not talking about ISIS. I'm talking about the eruptions of violence where people just fucking lose their minds and go kill a bunch of people.
I don't know much about Finland, but I think that those those countries, I think things are a lot better there.
Well, I think they have better mental health care. I also think that there isn't probably as much of a stigma about mental health problems as there is here in those countries. I think that there's a much bigger social welfare blanket where if there are people with issues, they can go and seek help without being branded, oh my god, that guy's crazy, stay away from him. Whereas in this country, there's still this stigma attached to if you have mental health problems and you need help, that there's something wrong with you, and better not talk about it, because nobody wants to talk about these problems.
No, they don't.
And, as coming from a person who's had depression problems in my life, I do the things that I need to do to keep that in check.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know that it's okay to get help, that don't know that it's okay to, reach out and talk to people. And then they get... I can't put myself in the brain of anybody that's ever done this, because I've never had those type of thoughts. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if there's a common thread with the people that do this. But it just seems that every time this comes up, there's an outpouring of emotion, and people post on Facebook about, oh, don't remember the shooter, remember this guy who charged the shooter. And God bless that dude. He probably did save some lives. He got shot I think 6 times, and he probably did save some lives by doing that, and that's courageous and that's heroic and that's an amazing thing to do. But what really needs to change, and there's always this issue of, well, the NRA comes in, steps up and says, you're not taking our fucking guns away. And fine, I want to buy a gun more now than I did before, because I do, and maybe this is me just being paranoid, but I do feel like changes are going to come down the pipeline where I'm not going to be able to get one, maybe. But there's always this stonewalling effect where something like this happens, everybody gets in a tizzy in Congress saying, well, the CDC can't even do research into gun violence. Our government will not spend money to figure out what the cause of this is, why this happens, what kind of identifiers, what can be done.
We don't have any money because we're buying guns.
We have money.
No,
the government has money.
The government's got no money because they're spending it all on guns.
No. The NRA has a vested interest in lobbying in Congress to keep the government from doing research into why this happens and what we can do to prevent it. So every time this happens, it comes up, and then they go to Congress and nothing changes. So what do you think, Spencer, as a human being, what do you think we can do to change this so that this doesn't have to continue happening? I know a lot of people are saying, you don't identify the shooter because that's what they want. They want the attention. They want all eyes on them because it brings them notoriety, whether it's famous or infamous.
That's a good point.
And
definitely.
And if you watch the news conference, they actually the sheriff or whoever the law enforcement officer who was in charge of the investigation said, I'm not going to divulge that person's name because I don't want to feed into their madness.
Yeah.
I don't want this, because I believe there's somewhere a video of a psychologist saying, when this happens, we can't talk about the shooter.
Yeah, so that should be number one. Like the shooter should be completely stricken from the record book, gone.
Okay.
Sealed up in an envelope, fucking gone.
Right.
And it's like this. People that legally own a gun,
mm-hmm.
they probably go to firing ranges. There's going to be a percentage that are crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
And they could legally own a gun, and somebody could break in their house, steal their gun, and use it. Okay, so if you have a gun, you should definitely keep it in a gun safe. It should have a lock on it.
Mm-hmm. So somebody breaks in your house, you got to go through your gun safe and take the lock off.
Well, no. If somebody breaks in your house, they can have whatever they want.
That's
like
true.
I'm not gonna pull a gun out and shoot somebody.
Well, what if they want you?
Then they're gonna take me. then they're going to kill me.
So then why have a gun?
To shoot.
For the sport of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
if I was going to have a gun to protect myself, it wouldn't be locked up in a safe.
Right.
It would be underneath my pillow.
Yeah.
And then there's no lock on it, and it's so like it's a catch-22, the slippery slope. It's like, do you do this, do you do that? If I'm going to, like, I have BB guns, BB pistols, and I love them.
Yeah.
I have fun with them, right?
Yeah.
The thing is if I was going to buy a gun, it would be something that shoots 22 long range or 22 bullets.
Yeah.
Maybe a pistol first, and I would go to my friend Dan Schoonmaker, which is a police officer for he's a detective for Westminster. He's also a sharpshooter for SWAT in Westminster. He knows how to fire a weapon.
Yeah.
He knows how to fire it perfectly. I would go to him and say, Dan, I want to buy a gun. This is the type I think I want. What do you think? He would let me know. I would do all the paperwork. I'd get the gun, and I would go with him to a firing range and have him train me how to use the pistol so that I knew how to operate it properly. It would be locked up. I would keep it. I would, you know what I mean? I would do all the things legally that you're supposed to do. And for me, it would be just, and like for my BB guns, it's just simple. It's like I like to see if I can hit the target. I like to use the little things I have to see if everything lines up right. Like, so if you have a laser sight, if the laser sight, it should shoot and hit the target where the laser is. And all that stuff is stuff that I'm trying to learn. And, that's, for me, that's the whole thing. It's not so much to kill somebody or kill anything. It's like to shoot a target, to use the mechanicals of making things line up in the actual machine. The gun itself is a bitchin' machine. It's the technology that goes into it. It's mechanical. It's all 100% mechanical.
Right.
And I like machine. That's what I like about it.
So I'm trying to find the clip of Obama where he's talking about how this has become, standard issue. I'm not having much luck with it, but that's fine. Okay. So, again, this goes back to the Joe Rogan quote that I pulled earlier. This country has a mental health problem disguised as a gun problem. And the reality is maybe there should be some mental health checks before somebody can register and own a gun.
And there are.
And there are, and that's the problem.
There are, but you can get a...
You can get a gun illegally, and all the
and
actions.
Those are the ones that have guns illegally are the ones that are probably doing all this stuff that's awful. And so here you go. You don't know they have a gun. So what do you do about that? There's nothing you can do.
So we treat this as a mental health problem, where we open up more avenues for people to seek help if they're feeling depressed or, this is regrets. I'm vaping right now, if you're not on Periscope. I love vaping. It's one of my favorite things to do. But, so, as this country's progressed and moved forward, we've kind of taken the emphasis off of social health care and more focused on the...
Oh, I just saw something came up from our Finnish guy.
What did he say?
Something about guns.
Okay.
All right. That's what we need. Oh, you know what? These people that are on Periscope, they're talking to each other.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. So then we don't have to interact with them.
No, we don't.
Because we have actually a show to do.
Yeah.
So we'll leave Periscope to do its thing, and hopefully those guys are entertaining each other. But, yeah, it is weird that we don't really have much... It's I'm actually in favor of Bernie Sanders, but we can talk about that later.
I don't know who that is.
Spencer.
I don't pay attention to the news, dude.
Yeah, you're probably happier for it too.
And I pay attention to stuff that interests me, and so I have my flip is set up to bring me technology stuff, stuff about weapons, about electronics, about Facebook, Twitter, design, photography. I do get a daily edition, which is a news feed. And like this one says, UN says Afghan hospital bombing may be a war crime.
Okay.
Syrian crisis, Russia about what I mean. I do get news,
some
and
news.
I
You scan it.
I scan it, and if it's something that interests me, I'll look at it.
It has
once
to
I
pique your interest.
Yeah, once it piques my interest and I look at it, then Flipbook will start
giving you more of it.
Yeah.
So talking about heroes, the guy who charged the shooter